Talk Radio, you're in to all things music.
School is easy, and of course, being a troublemaker, I'm like, let me take the hardest path in the world and be a musician. And you know, when you want to become a doctor or a lawyer or anything like that, there's a path. There's certain steps you take, and you go to this class and pass this test, and go to this school and pass another test, and get certified, and guess what? You're a doctor now. There's nothing like that for the music industry. It's just a free-for-all. Like, I just imagine, like, 87 different highways all colliding at the same time, and you're all trying to get to the same place, and no one knows how to get there.
Welcome to Jackie's Groove. Come journey with us through the rhythm of the music business with your host, Jackie Bertoni.
Hey everybody, happy Wednesday to you guys. Happy hump day, as they say. Hey, it's Jackie Bertoni, Jackie's Group, brought to you by Intertalk Radio Network. Guys, it's going to be a great day today, man. It's actually going to be a busy one for me because right after I'm done with this first guest, I'll tell you about where we're coming up on the 1 o'clock hour. But let's talk about this Detroit born and raised young lady by the name of Stephanie K. Award-winning, fashion sense beyond reality here, and also promoting her new album called Troublemaker. I'm going to find out if that is actually a direct response from the way she grew up and the way she's living itself. So with that said, guys, I want everybody to welcome with open arms and open ears to Jackie's Groove, Stephanie K. Hi, girl. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Jackie. Thank you so much for having me.
Hey, girl, let's talk about that opening song. I want to share with the audience worldwide what we were listening to.
Yeah, that song's called Breaking Up. It is on my new EP that's dropping on Friday. It's one of my favorite songs I've ever written personally because I'm sure as you heard through the lyrics, it's a revenge song. We've all been in situations, bad relationships, where things go very south. And truthfully, I think we've all had the fantasy of wanting to crash someone's car, especially if it's a Porsche or something really nice, and basically do everything you can to make their life hell because they've done the same for you.
Go big or go home, right, as they say?
Absolutely.
So tell me, Stephanie, growing up in Detroit, have you lived anywhere outside of the state of Michigan? Or are you steadfast in your hometown? Share with us. Where have you been in the United States of America growing up? Or has it always been in Detroit?
You know, it's always been in and around Detroit for the most part. I have lived in California for extended periods of time while recording and working with different producers out there. But I have to say, I am one of those people that is just, in love with their hometown. And I won't just say this for Detroiters, but I love meeting people who are so in love with the state that they're from or the city that they're from. And, especially here in Michigan, we get a lot of people like, oh, yeah, I hate the winters and it's too cold. And it's like, what? Come on. That's only a few months of the year. The people here are really passionate, whether it's about, music or sports. And I love it here. And that's, I think, why that I've always come back to here and loved this being a home base. Great musicians. I mean, of course, Motown was founded here, but there still are so many incredible musicians and producers that live in this city that you can get anything done here that you can get done in New York or California or around the world. And that's one of the reasons I love it so much. Yeah.
And, if not broke, why fix it itself? We're California boys down here in Southern California. In fact, my studio is in Temecula, the wine country, and then the headquarters, the big studio, is in San Diego. So we know nothing but beautiful weather, sunshine, and it's actually hotter than a witch's you-know-what outside today as we speak. I don't know how it's out there. We're going to be hitting over 100 degrees this coming weekend, so we're looking forward to that, and I'm saying that with tongue-in-cheek. We're done with the fucking weather here. Enough's enough. Hey, girl, let me ask you. Yeah, it's hot. It's ridiculous. But let's talk about the other side of hot. Let's talk about your inspirations. Let's talk about, let's go back to Troublemaker itself. You're coming out with an EP, a 5-song EP. Is there a reason why you chose to go the EP route versus releasing singles only or a full play LP? Share with the audience, if you would.
I really wanted to give people a sense of who I am in terms of a story. If you listen to the songs on the EP, it kind of tells a story about, a relationship gone wrong, meeting people, and we all go through that in our lives. I think with a single, it's hard to get a true sense of an artist just by a single. If you look at my first single from the EP, Tonight, it's a fun-loving, let's go out, have a great time song, party like rock stars, try to forget, all the shit that's happening in the world and all the terrible things. And sometimes we just need songs like that it's like, you know what, we're not taking ourselves too seriously. We're going to go out, have fun, party, have a great time. But in the same sense, I wanted to show more of my range in terms of writing and different styles of music, because that song is just straight pop dance. But if you listen to some of the other songs on the EP, we've got rock edge in there, Breaking Up that we heard a clip from. That was highly inspired by Prince with some of the guitar riffs. There's a ballad, a breakup ballad, and I just wanted to give people a little more sense of who I am. That, I do love to go to the bar and rip back some shots, but there's a little more to me than that, so I didn't want to leave it as just a single.
Okay, let's talk about a second here. We talked about dropping this coming Friday, the namesake Troublemaker. Is that title all about you? Are you a troublemaker?
I think I am a little bit of a troublemaker. I think, nowadays in today's society, we really get overwhelmed with the notion of fitting into this cookie cutter image. And I'm not just even talking about looks, I'm talking about we're supposed to act a certain way, be a certain way, and we're not. Why try to hide that? We're human. Mm-hmm. We all have a range of emotions that, we go through on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, and that's okay. It's okay to sometimes feel spiteful, like in Breaking Up. It's okay to feel sexy. It's okay to feel guilty. And that's why I put that out there, because, it's a little towing the line of what's accepted. So, yeah, I'm a little bit of a troublemaker.
Okay, and for the single males out there, are you a single woman at this point? If you want to share that.
I am currently single, yes, and that is recent. So, yeah. On the prowl back again to be more of a troublemaker.
Congratulations. Congratulations, or I'm sorry. You can choose where you want to fall in between that. Hey, girl, let me ask you a quick question. Let's talk about your inspirations growing up. I always ask this question because I'm always really curious. I know my story. But growing up in your household as a child, what were the influences coming through the speaker? What were mom and dad listening to? And as I always say this too, were you enjoying it, or was music being forced upon you to fall into the daily grind of music with the family there?
I am very lucky to say that I always loved music and all kinds of it. And I really do. I know this sounds cliche, but I really do have my parents to thank for that. They listen to such a range of music. My dad's from a Polish family. So, even listening to like polkas and things like that, he was into classic rock. While my mom was more into, the power ballads of the 90s and the Michael Bolton, whom I love, by the way. I'm a huge Michael Bolton fan. But, it wasn't just, I think sometimes, a family may just like country or may just like one type of music, but I was getting it all, which I really think has helped mold me, because when I create music, I usually don't just want to make it, okay, this is just pop. It's like, no, let's take an aspect of pop, let's take an aspect of hip hop, let's take an aspect of rock and put it all together, because they don't have to be separate. We can mesh these things together. There's no rules. Dig it.
And Stephanie, let me ask you this question. Was there a certain age timeline in your life growing up when you went, fuck, I can sing? What did you have a time on that? How young were you when you realized the fact that you can actually hold a tune, hold a note?
Yeah, it was pretty young, and I remember this vividly. Favorite Disney movie of all time is The Little Mermaid.
Of
and
course.
I remember watching it, and I just started singing Part of Your World, and I don't think I'd ever really tried to sing before. And I remember sitting in my parents' living room, and I started to sing, and they both looked at me like with those, wide eyes, like, is she singing like that? And
got it.
I remember it to this day. They were like, keep singing, Steffi, keep singing. And then, you little kid, you get a little embarrassed back then.
Of course.
Everyone's looking at you, and my dad's trying to find the video camera and that kind of thing. But I do remember that day, and I remember singing it and loving it because I loved the movie. And I was like, oh, I can sing like Ariel. I can do this. And from there, I started doing musical theater very young and kind of always had the little itch for the spotlight. I was never someone who was shy, got nervous.
Right.
I liked being in that spotlight and performing because, I knew I could do it. Not to say that I was a very cocky, like 6-year-old, but it was like, I can do this and it's fun for me. So I always enjoyed performing.
No, and I get that because when I was a little boy, my mom and dad used to love Las Vegas, and I used to perform.
I love Las Vegas.
I'm not kidding here, but at the age of 7, 8 years old, actually about 7 years old, I'd be in the Keno Lounge at the Hilton Hotel. I always, if people knew Jackie growing up, I was very much a hipster. I always wore hats when I was young, like a bolo hat and so on. But I would actually take the Keno crayons that you would mark down the sheets with. I would put it in my hat, but I didn't know what inertia was at that time. But I would flip my hat in the air, and the crayons never fell out. So I was amazed by that. But I was also amazing people. They're probably going, look at this little fucking kid doesn't realize what inertia is. But at that age, I was performing in Keno lounges, not being paid for it. But you knew when you had the exception of the situation. Of course, go ahead, Stephanie, sing for us. Then you're going to get back. You're going to step back for a second. But when you know the fact is when you have it and the people are smiling, there's something inside of you. I mean, you can take all the greatest lessons in the world, Stephanie, but if you don't have it, you're never going to get it. And that's the bottom line.
Absolutely.
That's my personal opinion. So let me ask you this question. Growing up, listening to those different styles of music, listening to your music and then the last 24 hours, trying to get some sense of where your soul and passion is. I want to start out by saying hello to my buddy and your PR agent, Mr. Rick Scott, for bringing you here. And we thank you very much for that, accepting the invitation. And
of course, thank you for having me.
Yeah, man, absolutely. And secondly, what we're excited about is what we're all about here is connecting everybody, Stephanie, to music, all different types of genres. I mean, coming up after your show, I'm doing an amazing interview with a great director, producer, Fran Strine, who has an award-winning new video, a DVD right now called The Hired Gun. It's all about us, the working class guys below the marquee, if you will. And then joining him on that is who you're going to call Mr. Ray Parker Jr., Ghostbusters. So they're going to join the show also. So you're in really, really good company this week.
Fantastic.
Yeah, man. So let me ask you this. Now, if I was to hijack your music player, jump in your car with you right now, what's in rotation, music-wise?
Are we talking current rotation, or are we going to like the favorites of all time playlist?
You take it. Take it. It's your choice.
Well, currently, if I'm thinking about what I've been obsessed with in the past even week, I really love Pink's new album. She is just, got that grittiness to her that seems so real. There's nothing fake about her, and I really appreciate that. And she's also a songwriter that tells it how it is. She's not afraid to be a little out there, a little unladylike, and I respect that a lot. I've got the new Taylor Swift in rotation. Again, that's, her revenge song. I kind of got that going right now because of the breakups. You got to have those breakup songs fueling you while you're driving and looking like a badass and, going to take over the world. But yeah, I'm kind of a person that even when songs to other people are old, I mean, I still have songs in my current craze playlist that it's like from Adele's 23 album. Some of them are just such great songs that you just can't move past it that much. U2's new single, I've definitely been digging a lot. So there's that rock edge in there.
Right.
Childish Gambino. So there was the hip hop edge of it. So yeah, you can see I'm kind of all over the map a little bit, but I think, just hour by hour, we feel different during the day. So I don't want to really have a playlist that's all, happy songs or, sad breakup songs, but you're going to feel different throughout the day. So you're going to want to, hear different things. And sometimes you don't even know what you want to listen to. It's like, let's put it on shuffle and see what comes on. And somehow fate and God puts on the exact song you needed to hear. See,
but you got to understand too, you being younger than I am, back in the day when radio, especially let's just talk about AM radio for a second, you didn't have a playlist. You listened to what was being played. And one minute you'd be listening to the Beatles, and the next minute you'd be listening to Tom Jones, and then to Engelbert and so on. And so then it was the melding of everything. So you kind of got an overall taste. Let me ask you this question. I'm looking at photographs of you. I'm a happily married man, but I'll be the first to say you're sexy as fuck, girl. And and I say it as a compliment, but I want to know something. Are you, as beautiful as you are, can you still be a dude? And I mean by that, can you punch with the best of them? Are you comfortable in your own shoes and being around, I hate to use a term, but a male-dominated business? Talk about how you deal with how do your hormones deal with this situation?
It's funny that you say that. I grew up, I only have one brother, but all of my cousins were guys, and I was the youngest, so am the youngest. So, when you're growing up and you're the only girl and the youngest, you have to do everything that the guys want to do. So I wasn't much playing with Barbies and doing things like that. I was climbing trees and running around forests and having them launch me off, snowbanks and playing video games and watching sports. And it was funny when you were saying, can you hang with the guys? Because most of my friends are guys. I am a huge sports fan. And, I don't know how much you follow sports, but in the past 2 weeks when Cam Newton made the comment about a female reporter, not understanding routes, I don't get offended by much because I'm a pretty easygoing person. But when I heard that, I was like, okay, Cam, that's pretty bad because I am the girl who can sit at a sports bar during a sporting event and not just wear, a shirt I bought from Victoria's Secret Pink that says my team's name on it and look at my phone the whole time. No, I'm watching the game. I know stats. I know who players are. I know what's going on. And in that sense, I can hang with the best of them with sports. So I like to think that I can hang with the best of them in the music biz, too. And, it's an extremely difficult, tough business. But I think because of my outgoing attitude, because I'm confident in myself, I'm not intimidated by guys in that sense, like, because they're males, I'm just, a female and this is hard to be around them. But, I have no problem with that. It just feels normal to me.
Yeah, Stephanie, but you know as well as I do, too. I'm married to a gorgeous woman itself, and she goes into certain things like, honey, I've got to go stop at the store and get some windshield wipers for my car, but I don't know what I'm doing to put them on. So I said, honey, just do yourself the favor, and I'm not being chauvinistic, but take your index finger, put it by your little cheek, and kind of, be the girl. Can you help me? I don't really think I know what I'm doing. And it's amazing. Guys will go that extra distance. I mean, you talk about being a girl about sports. I mean, you're talking to Jackie, my nieces, Devaney, and Denise, and Ashley, and Sam. These girls are more dudes than I am when it comes to that. They're Dodger Blue, go Dodgers, and I have to deal with this shit. My Devaney, she's a Cowboys fan beyond belief. So I get shoved down my throat on a regular basis. But you know what's being shoved down my throat right now, girl? The first segment is coming to an end. You see how fast this goes, and we've got so much more to talk about in these next two segments. So I want you to put your thinking cap on. I've got some more stuff I want to get involved with you. Talk about your inspirations. Talk about what you inspired to make Troublemaker that we talked about before. So with that said, guys, don't go anywhere. I'm Jackie Bertoni. This is Jackie's Groove, brought to you by Talk Radio Network. I'm talking to the dude, Stephanie King. And a new song, a new album coming up on Friday called Troublemaker. Guys, don't go anywhere. We're right back with Steph. I just called you Steph like I know you for, 15 minutes already. Guys, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back on segment number 2. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
You know what's all around you every waking moment of your life? Marketing. You're choking on it. I'm Scott Robertson, and when it comes to strategic PR, branding, and marketing, I've seen it all. And actually, I'm still seeing it because bad marketing never sleeps. Join me each week on May the Best Brand Win, right here on Intertalk Radio, and learn how to make the marketing for your brand unforgettable.
Hi, I'm Tim Dolbear, the host of Sound Experience on Intertalk Radio. Each week, I talk with top professional audio engineers, producers, musicians, and the manufacturers that make the tools that we use in the studio each and every day. From capturing the perfect take to mastering your final release, and the tools and how the pros use them, we are going to dive deep into their process and learn from their experience. I look forward to you joining us each week on Sound Experience with me, your host, Tim Dolbear.
Make this your vinyl night. I'm John J.R. Robinson, and every week, music creation comes alive through stories, experiences, and sounds when vinyl records filled our hearts and minds. My friends and I share our tips and techniques used in creation of iconic tracks for recording artists such as Michael Jackson, Eric Clapton, Quincy Jones, and Steve Winwood, to name a few. Vinyl has emerged hot, and the soul of vinyl defines art and passion which burns deepest at night. Tune in every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on EnterTalkRadio.com.
Todd Zuckerman from the rock band Styx, and you're listening to my pal Jackie Bertoni on Jackie's Groove. Groove on, motherfuckers.
Welcome to Jackie's Groove. Come journey with us through the rhythm of the music business with your host, Jackie Bertoni.
You talk about Pink on that last set, girl. I think you channeled her on that song itself. Guys, welcome back. This is Jackie Bertoni. This is Jackie's Groove, and it's brought to you by Intertalk Radio Net. Hey, guys, I'm talking to Stephanie K right now, and I also want to throw a shout-out to my buddy, Mark Schulman, who's Pink's drummer. And I love that tune, girl. Tell me about that song. You talk about a complete different dichotomy from the first tune. Let's talk about that song.
Yeah, that one's called Story of a Broken Heart. And I kind of do things when I title songs, like, you know, when you hear Story of a Broken Heart, I think most people will go ahead and think, oh, this is going to be like a sad, you know, this girl got hurt song. And then I did that with another song on the EP called Hard for Me. Like, you think, oh, she's going through something hard. Nope, complete different double entendre going on there. But with Story of a Broken Heart, you know, I really wanted to write a song where the girl's at fault. Because, again, going back to that, you know, girls are innocent and princesses, and they're the ones always getting hurt by these terrible dudes.
Wrong.
Which, yes, happens quite often. But in Story of a Broken Heart, I'm basically just telling how guilty I am. Like, I'm at fault. I did everything wrong. This is the story of his broken heart, and I can't keep lying and keep doing the things I was doing and hurting this person anymore. And we don't really see enough of that. You know, there's so many songs about breakups and relationships in the music business, but we really, a lot of times, don't see that side of it. I mean, being a huge Beyonce fan, I mean, she's the queen, of course, but you have to even think on her last album, Lemonade, it's basically all about her getting cheated on and how she's handling it and how she's going to get back from it. And I don't want people to always think that that's how it goes. And if we stop and think about it, you know, girls can be just as at fault as guys. And that's what I wanted to do with that song. And I wanted to give it, you know, a sad sound, kind of an R&B sound, but more of a harder edge on the choruses. And that's what we were just listening to. And I think it came out great. It was exactly what I wanted.
Yeah, man. You know, and that's refreshingly honest about you coming up to saying that, you know, basically it takes two to tango. There's a two-way street. You know, not everybody is perfect. Nobody walks on water. Believe me, as I said, I'm going on 34 years of marriage. My wife's been putting up with my shit for all these years, and you know, of course, and back
congratulations,
then,
by the way, 34 years.
Oh, thank you. Well, you know, I'm afraid of her, and she wears the pants in the family, so I have no issues with that whatsoever. But let me ask this question: you're talking about just angst and so on. Think for a second and be honest with me. You've been so honest so far. What pisses you off in the music business?
Where do I begin? How much time do we have this segment?
You take your time. This is your show.
You know, what's what's really upset me, and especially with my age and coming into the music industry now, just going back to the beginning of my career, when the music industry changed and we got into, Napster and the illegal downloading, and all the record companies, stopped giving out record deals. There were no demo deals. There's so much of that, nepotism, and you have to know the right person to get in.
No,
people
really?
think that these, yeah, really, you could be the most talented person in the world, the best writer in the world, but it's all about that break and knowing the right person. And, I was, not to brag, but always very academically inclined. School came easy to me. I had an academic scholarship to the University of Michigan. School was easy. And, of course, being a troublemaker, I'm like, let me take the hardest path in the world and be a musician. And, when you want to become a doctor or a lawyer or anything like that, there's a path. There's certain steps you take, and you go to this class and pass this test and go to this school and pass another test and get certified, and guess what? You're a doctor now. There's nothing like that for the music industry. It's just a free-for-all. Like, I just imagine, 87 different highways all colliding at the same time, and you're all trying to get to the same place, and no one knows how to get there. And that's what really bothers me, because there's no set path. And nowadays, people think, people who know nothing about the music industry think, why don't you go on American Idol or The Voice or one of these? I mean, I get asked that question every single day. And I often...
Let me jump in. Let me jump in real quick. I'm going to ask you a question itself. And again, you opened a can of worms here. With you and your education and your smarts, what made you take a left-hand turn that was law or medicine and so on, that you took the right-hand turn into this obscure thing called the music business? What drove you to sit there and, you got to have a strong mind in this business also, especially as a woman, to know bullshit and call bullshit when bullshit is put out there. But really, I'm curious, what made you make that right-hand turn?
Well, clearly, I'm mentally insane.
Well, hello.
In all seriousness, you only live once, and I even knew that from a young age. This life's only going to happen once, and yeah, I could have done that. Could have easily, I don't want to say easily and make it like it's nothing out of it, but become a doctor, gone that route, like all my friends did. It's tough, and then you're missing out on a lot of things in life too. Not just when I left school to record in California, how many people say that being in school and college is the best part of your life? I mean, I had to give up friendships. I had to give up relationships. I had to just work, because that's all you do in the music industry. You create music and you work and you try to get it out there. And I am very lucky that I had a family, I keep speaking in the past tense, I have a family who believes in me so much and my talent. And, I think that's a testament to my abilities as well. Because, my parents are not stupid people, and they know how difficult the music industry is, especially now. But if I didn't have what it takes, back years ago, they would have said, you are fucking crazy. You're staying in school, and you're not doing this. This is a 1 in a million shot. But they believed in me, and they still do. And I think it was one of the best decisions I've ever made, because that was the easy route for me, to stay there and do the normal thing. And then, in today's society, that is the normal thing. You graduate, you go to college, you graduate again, then you have your job. But you know what? Exactly. I was so passionate about music and loved performing and writing. I love sitting down with my journal in the window and just writing music and putting it all together in my head and knowing that this is going to be a song one day. And I don't think I would get that rush doing anything else. I mean, I haven't tried something like skydiving, so maybe I got to try that, and that's a fun rush too, because a little bit of a daredevil. But
yeah, it's not the fall that hurts you; it's that sudden stop. I have a friend of mine who's a professional skydiver.
Absolutely.
He's been wanting me to go on in a tandem, and I love you, Ricardo, but it's never going to happen. Hey, you answered a question that I was going to ask already. And I asked this, but again, you're young, but I do ask a lot of people that are older like us: is mom and dad still with us? And you made it sound like mom and dad still are with us, thank God. But my question to you has now that mom and dad are still with us and everything else, have they enjoyed the fruits of your labor? Have they seen and enjoyed your success up to this date? And does it make you warm and fuzzy inside when mom and dad are out there looking for you and looking at you while you're performing? Does that still make you feel really good inside?
Absolutely. One of the best moments, I'm sure you know, as a performer, is when you're on stage, and no matter how big the crowd is, whether it's a smaller crowd or a bigger crowd, when you connect eyes with someone that you know and love, and you get to perform for them and sing for them just in that moment, it's like, it really just gives you that feeling in your heart that, like, this is cool. I'm singing there might be 1,000 people in here, but I'm singing just to you right now. And I love that. Yeah, they've always believed in me. They love my music. I mean, you know, when they've been at certain award shows, when I've won things before or had certain honors for different songs or songwriting pieces that I've done, they they get it, and they understand how difficult it is. You know, it's not one of these people like, has a bumper sticker, like, my kid's an honor student at blah, blah, blah middle school. It's like, okay, and my dog knows how to sit. You know, these are like real things that are really hard to do. And they love it. They love watching me perform. And again, I hate to be with the cliches, but they really are my biggest fans. Like, you know, absolutely. My dad bumping, you know, the EP in his car, talks about it to everyone he meets, and it's really nice to see, and it makes me feel good that they still feel that way.
Yeah, and I say that because I want to share this on your real. I mean, growing up, my career started when I was a year out of high school with one of the biggest bands. They're actually celebrating 50 years this coming year in 2018, a group called Tower of Power. And thank you for my dear friend Emilio for giving me my shot back then. And the thing I remember is that I had we were on tour with a small group called Santana. And I say that tongue in cheek.
Oh, yeah.
But I had, we were playing at the Anaheim Convention Center. And the following day, my mom decided that she wanted to have a barbecue. So basically, Santana's band, with the exception of Carlos, they all came to the house. Mom made this amazing Armenian meal. And we talked and we sat around. But a lot of people, my mom was a surgical nurse, and a lot of the girls at work and guys at work found out that Santana, my mom kind of let the word slip, that were coming to the house. And so I said, Mom, I don't want anybody coming, you know, and she goes, I understand. But my mom was sitting there trying, you know, she's growing up in the business with me, and nothing really impressed her. But when she brought out the album cover of Inner Secrets, and she held it to Raul Jr., who was 3 years old at the time, and she goes, Raul, who is that? And she pointed towards her dad, my dear friend who we lost 2 years ago, the percussionist with Santana, Raul Reco. He goes, that's my dad. You know, and the fact of the matter is, at 3 years old, and he's sitting there playing with this iconic band. But the fact of the matter is, you know, I was always looking to impress my mom, you know, but my mom always said, you're always looking to impress. You don't need to do that. She goes, because I know my son. If you took a good dump on the corner of Main Street and in Fifth Avenue, you'd want the audience, you know, the traffic to stop and applaud you. But see, that was the good thing. You always want to make sure that in the eyes, my father died when I was young, when I was 8 years old. So my mom was my mom and dad growing up. And she did get a chance to see her son and his success. And that's why I asked that question, because I could be playing in a venue of 9,000 people or a venue of 100,000 people. I know where my wife is. That sounds really goofy. But when I see her eyes,
not at all.
Look, yeah, you know, or I'm looking at her and she'll look at me like, did you really just do that? And, you know, and all of a sudden you feel like a kid, you know. And so I wanted to ask that question. I'm glad that your parents are still with you. I'm glad they're seeing that. And I want to ask you this question. When you're being sexy or when you're being Stephanie on stage and dad is in that audience, is there an awkward moment at all? Or if there's other friends of dad's that are looking at you, I think you know where I'm talking about itself. Does that skeeve you out at all? Or is that just your performance part of your body?
You know, that's one you got to put outside of your mind. I think that no one ever really wants their parents to see them being sexy or, you know, wearing a see-through top in a photo shoot. But he gets it. He knows that. It's all part of the industry. And when you're singing a sexy song, you're not going to stand up there and look like a wallflower. You know, I wrote this song clearly, and I'm going to, you know, act it out to the best of my abilities and act like what the song's talking about. So, yeah, it's one of those you got to put it out of your mind. I mean, if I'm singing a line about sex or something, I'm probably not going to look to seek out my dad in the audience at that moment. Yeah, that's when I'll probably look at some hot guy that's standing somewhere else.
Yeah, he's looking and saying, baby, make me moan, turn me over. Oh, hi, Dad. Yeah, you know, talk about a boner breaker.
Yeah,
I mean, that's,
I just got goosebumps. No.
So let me ask you this question, girl, and I want you to think about this for a second. And it's a question that just kind of came to my mind because your voice is all over the place. Again, it's the pinkish. It's that rave music. It's all that kind of a chameleon, if you will. But is there a song, and think about this, is there a song that is a hit right now that you wish you, and forget the monetary part about it. Let's just talk about the fame of it. Is there a song that was written that is world famous that you wish you wrote? And what song is that? And why?
So many. One that I know right now, it's not a current song, but every time I still hear it to this day, I said, oh, I wish I wrote that song, which is Irreplaceable by Beyonce. And every part of the song I love, from the instrumentation to the lyrics to the harmonies to the message behind it. It's one of those that every time I hear it, I love it. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the singer-songwriter Emily Warren.
No.
She's a little bit more underground, but she's written for a lot of, very famous artists, but not many people know her. She had a song come out a few weeks ago called Hurt by You. And again, it's one of those things how I title songs. It's like you think that she's saying I'm, so hurt by you. But the song is actually, more of a love song where she's saying, I'm going to give you everything that I have, and I'm going to believe we're going to defy all the odds, and I hope you don't hurt me, but boy, if you do, it will be worth being hurt by you. And I think that's such a beautiful sentiment. And how much do you have to be in love with someone to say that? No one wants to be hurt. It's being heartbroken is the worst feeling in the entire world. And I didn't, there had been times when I thought I had my heart broken, but when you truly have your heart broken, it's crippling. I used to think, because you got that boyish attitude to me sometimes. When I hear, my friends be like, I can't get out of bed and I can't eat.
Right.
In my head, I'm like, suck it up. Let's go to the bar. Wow.
Exactly.
When it really happens, and I was a victim of that before, being so hurt, you can't. It's like pull the shades, just cuddle the dog. I don't want to move. And I think that's why, getting back to the Emily Warren song, I really loved that line so much, because it's like no one wants that feeling. But if you love someone enough to say, like, if it happens, it was worth it. It's worth being hurt by you that I could be with you. And
I say that to a lot of the young. I say that to a lot of the young kids growing up in this industry itself about, you're out there, you're tasting the failure, you're tasting the fruits of your, of your labors, if you will. But those sitting in front of a monitor and looking in, singing into YouTube and praying the fact that you're going to be one of the very, a few millions out there that even make it. The only one I can think off the top of my head right now is Tori. I don't know why I'm dropping her last name. Local girl here, and also Justin Bieber. You got to get out there, man. You got to get your ass. You got to get your ass kicked. You've got to hear the word no. Yeah. You've got to be beat up. You've got to be bruised, and so on. And when we get back on this third segment, again, I need more time with you, girl. And what I want to do is I also want to throw that quintessential olive branch out. So when this album becomes a hit, and the next album comes out, please have Rick, if you're still with him, or come back to us directly. We'd love to help you promote the situation. That's what we're all about, connecting everybody with music and everything about that. But I want to tell you, at this last couple seconds itself, when we get back, we can just give some props to a gentleman I know also, Mr. Michael Powell, a 4-time Grammy Award-winning producer, writer, and so on. I want to find out how you guys linked up and what future you guys have together that you can use that crystal ball in front of you. So I'm real curious, because he's got a lot of friends in common, Jay King from Club Nouveau and also Brian Alexander Morgan. These are all guys that write for Anita Baker and the like. So with that said, guys, coming back on segment number 3, this is Jackie Bertoni, Jackie's Groove, brought to you by Intertalk Radio Network. You're into all things music. I'm looking at notes here. So guys, don't go anywhere. We'll be back in segment number 3. Don't miss anything. We're going to reel it all in with Stephanie King. Don't go anywhere, guys. Stay tuned.
Hi, this is Tim Dolbear, host of Sound Experience here on Intertalk Radio. And Source Connect by Source Element is the essential tool that we use to link between my studio in Austin, Texas, and the WS radio station in San Diego. Now, with Source Connect, not only can we communicate in real time and with HD audio, but it's synced up and is of a high enough quality that I can use it for real-time ADR work, remote recording, and overdubbing, and it even allows me to remotely control a DAW. Source Connect by Source Element. Affordable, high-quality audio and video connection over the internet for all of your production needs.
You know what's all around you every waking moment of your life? Marketing. You're choking on it. I'm Scott Robertson, and when it comes to strategic PR, branding, and marketing, I've seen it all. And actually, I'm still seeing it, because bad marketing never sleeps. Join me each week on May the Best Brand Win, right here on Intertalk Radio, and learn how to make the marketing for your brand unforgettable.
Make this your vinyl night. I'm John J.R. Robinson, and every week, music creation comes alive through stories, experiences, and sounds when vinyl records filled our hearts and minds. My friends and I share our tips and techniques used in creation of iconic tracks for recording artists such as Michael Jackson, Eric Clapton, Quincy Jones, and Steve Winwood, to name a few. Vinyl has emerged hot, and the soul of vinyl defines art and passion which burns deepest at night. Tune in every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on intertalkradio.com.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
Hi, this is Michael McDonald, and you're listening to my good buddy Jackie Bertoni on Jackie's Groove.
Welcome to Jackie's Groove. Come journey with us through the rhythm of the music business with your host, Jackie Bertoni.
All right, the girl that's throwing her own special stank on that tune is my in-studio guest, this gorgeous girl by the name of Stephanie K. Guys, Jackie Bertoni, Jackie's Groove, Intertalk Radio Network. Hey, I want to tell you something, man. I want to ask you guys, do yourselves a favor. You can't always listen to me live, and that's understandable. We all have our own gigs during the day. But if you have a favorite artist that's on our roster and you wish you never missed that, I'll tell you how you circumvent that. You go on to iTunes and to Google. You download our easy-to-use and free application. 2 words, Intertalk. Second is radio. You can take Jackie's Groove and the plethora of other amazing shows on the network on the go with you. And also, with that said, Stephanie, I want to say hi to all of our sponsors. First and foremost, Pitbull Audio, Calvin Lee and the Motley Crew down here in National City, California. You can reach them at pitbullaudio.com, and their tagline is, we just want you to play it loud. Also, to SIR, Studio Instrument Rentals, the greatest backline company out here on the East and West Coast, and great places for your rehearsal studio needs. SIR-USA.com for all of that needs. Also, people, I have to say thank you to Sabian Cymbals, 24 years, my cymbal company. Vader Percussion, 25 years, my drumstick company. LP Music, 28 years, my amazing percussion company. So with that said, business is out of the way. Hey, girl, welcome back. Let's talk about that song we just came in on. That was very Prince-ish, if I may. And has that
a heavy one.
Kind of, a little Belle Biv DeVoe on that also. Tell me about the genesis of that tune.
It's funny, before the break, we were saying we wanted to talk a little bit about one of my producers, Michael Powell.
Michael, yes.
Yes, and that is one of the first songs he and I did together. I was introduced to Michael Powell from another producer by the name of Detail out of Atlanta, and I'm sure you know how this industry goes, especially as a songwriter. You just meet people and work with one producer, get a song, then another producer hears it, you work with a better one and a better one and a better one. And Detail had worked with me, and he said, I have someone that I need you to meet. Of course, all the music industry is meeting people. And I, of course, knew who Michael Powell was right away. He had played my music for Michael, and Michael said, great, let's meet her. And, he's always done R&B, that kind of stuff. So for him, it was a little out of the box to meet, a singer-songwriter that's, mainly pop. And I just have to say, we clicked from the beginning. It was like we were old friends. He's like a second dad to me. I remember the first time meeting him, we sat down, and he's like, you got some of your journals with you? And I was like, yeah. He's like, all right, we'll start singing something. He took out a guitar. I started singing a song called Disaster, which is basically, telling a guy at the bar, like, this might look good, but don't pursue me because I've got all of these faults, and I'm basically outlining them. And he just started playing along with me, and really the rest is history. When we're in the studio together, of course, you're going to have let's do it this way or let's do it that way. But really, we just play off of each other. He'll add some cool things like you just mentioned, like Belle Biv DeVoe. Like, let's do this really cool harmony here. Sing it this way. I want, your voice to sound like this. And then I'll bring it back to a pop, or we need a raging guitar here. And I think that's how we built some of these really unique songs that, like I was saying earlier, bring together different genres because of the relationship that he and I have, where we can bounce ideas off of each other, and for some reason it just works.
Yeah, man, that snare drum, that reverse snare drum that was on that song, I don't want to get technical with the listeners out there,
no?
But you have that sound, and it's definitely Belle Biv DeVoe. It's that rock, da 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 da. Is that that kind of a Spinderella, that kind of that whole vibe of the late '80s, early '90s. Because I always tell a lot of the young players out there, to know where you're going to go musically, you have to know where the music started from. You've got to know all different genres. Doesn't mean you have to love that situation, but the best form of flattery is stealing, and that's and I'm talking about stealing vibes, intonation of your voice, and so on. I can't wait to hear that song again. Give me the title of that tune we heard.
That one's called Trouble, and you were talking about, the drums on that, and that whole idea was Michael Powell. I can't take credit for the drums on that, and he said right away when we were doing that song, and he goes, we need live drums on this. In pop, so often people are just like, let's get out the drum machine and do that. He was like, this has to be live drums that are mic'd up with a ton of mics perfectly, and a big studio. On the studio, we recorded that in, the drummer, he was just in this huge open area because we wanted that sound. We wanted it to be different than other pop songs. And it delivered. The drummer on that, his name's Quentin Denard. He's also a fantastic studio engineer. But yeah, he killed it. It's very intense, and I love what he did with it.
Hey, worldwide fans, do me a favor. Write this down, man. Friday, October the 20th. This album drops. I miss record release Tuesdays. You're around long enough you remember record release Tuesdays, Stephanie. But we'll take record release Friday. So guys, we'll go to wherever music is sold and buy this album called Troublemaker with Stephanie K. And also, speaking of troublemakers, how's that for a shitty segue? I want to bring on the line the gentleman that writes my check and forcing me to do the shit that I don't want to do. But we'll talk about that on another show of Oprah. So with that said, Florentina, I know you've been chomping at the bit. Would you say hi to Stephanie? And Stephanie, say hi to Florentina.
Hey, Stephanie, how you doing?
Hi, I'm great. How are you?
Good. We're really happy to have you on the show. I'm glad we were able to get this scheduled in today, and amazing talent. I just got to say that. I've been listening to the show, and I'm with you. Pink is, I love that girl. In fact, I've met her before, and she's a sweetheart.
Great. Yeah, she's fantastic. And thank you so much for having me. It's fun to chat, and just, I feel like I'm just relaxing, and it doesn't feel like work. And I just love chats like this where you can talk to people who really know the music industry, and it feels good.
Yeah, and that's what we do. This is we create a station so that people can get to know the hearts of the artist and the passions. They hear it in the music, and obviously that translates, and it says more than words can truly say. But this kind of illuminates a little bit more about who and where these artists, especially like yourself, who you've been doing this for a while, but you're really starting to come into your own, and we really recognize that and appreciate that. And with that said, what we like to do in this segment is we want people to be able to find out more about you, to discover you, and to learn your music, to learn to be able to see your where you're coming from. So give us your URLs, your websites, whatever they and however they can find out more about you. Tell us.
Yes, absolutely. My official website is stephaniekmusic.com. That's Stephanie with a PH. On there, you can stalk my pictures. You can look at videos. Read more about me in terms of my bio, awards I've won. I've got a bunch of songs on there right now that are not featured on the EP. So if you just want to hear a bunch more of my music, that's on there. There's a lot to do on the site. It's a pretty big site. So definitely check that out, stephaniekmusic.com. And also in terms of social media, all of my usernames are the same. So if you're an Instagram person, it's Stephanie K Music. Twitter, Stephanie K Music. Facebook, Stephanie K Music. And Snapchat, Stephanie K Music. So I'm definitely very active on social media. And, it's not always just, here's my music and buy the new single. It's like I like to just be me. And, I talk about sports a lot on Twitter. I'm a big yogi, practice yoga every day. So a lot with that. So, yeah, if you just want to get to know me a little bit more as a person in addition to my music, definitely check out the social media, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, all at Stephanie K Music.
Awesome. That is very cool. And I guess one of the other things I'd like to find out is, are you performing live? And if so, when and where?
You know what? We don't have any of the schedules available yet, but in 2018, I will be performing live constantly. So again, check back for the website for all of that. Right now, just really concentrating on the single and promoting the EP, which we're so excited about. That drops on Friday.
That is awesome. And yeah, when Rick, I personally am a good friend of Rick's and worked with Rick on a number of different promotional artists, and I was pretty excited when he told us about that. And we had to kind of work those schedules out because we needed to get you in, because this was definitely an important launch for the music industry. So we definitely appreciate that. And
let's be honest, Florentina. Yeah, let's be honest. And Rick out there, Rick said this artist is so hot, you've got to get her on. And so Florentino said, "Hey, do you mind doing 2 shows on Wednesday? Whatever Rick wants, we'll do for him." So that's he scares me a little bit. So I just kind of want to throw it out there.
Wow, he's got more pull than me.
Oh, yeah, well, he threatened me. He said she's on. And I said I'm not about to piss him off. Go ahead, Florentino. I had to throw it in.
Oh, no. I just wanted to say, I was just going to pass it back to you, brother. I think you've been doing an amazing job, and people are, they're chiming in. So I think this is all great. So continue on with this amazing interview. It's a very big pleasure meeting you, Stephanie. We look forward to hearing and seeing more of you in the future.
You as well. Thank you so much for the support.
You're welcome.
Okay, girl. So let me ask you this question too. And I asked this. This is a redundant question, but I'm really always curious. My wife actually came up with this question. Fair question? I don't know, but I think it's something that's kind of perplexing in your mind. So look back for this. If Stephanie K never heard the word music in her life, it wasn't in her vocabulary, what would Stephanie K be doing today?
Oh, God. Wow, tell your wife that is an incredible question.
Yeah,
it's a difficult one because it's hard. Music's my whole life. It's been a part of my life since I was so young, and I started writing very young and obviously performing very young. Gosh, what would I be doing today? I'd probably be, I would probably say that I would have gone the doctor route and been doing that. And it's just, it's such a hard question to answer because that's saying like, you would remove a piece of my soul and my being.
Exactly.
I really can't picture it.
And it's a question. I had a question I always want to ask you because I know like it was yesterday. Think about this for a second. When was the first time Stephanie heard herself on the radio? Where were you? What song was it? And what were you thinking? What were you doing when you heard that song?
Oh, gosh. I know that I was driving in my car. I think I was driving to dinner somewhere. I'm trying to think what song it would have been. We have to think about that one. But it's an overwhelming feeling the first time you hear yourself on the radio. As you know, it's like overwhelming emotion. And a lot of people might not understand that if you're not a musician, but it's those tears of joy kind of thing. You feel kind of silly because I remember welling up and being like, oh my God, I feel like I can't even drive and almost shaky. But it's that tears of joy, happiness. Like, I can't believe it. Like, and nowadays with, YouTube and things like that, people can see themselves and hear themselves so much more often. With social media, everybody has an opinion and can post a live video at all times. But there's something about as a musician being on the radio that'll always get you. And I think that'll never change until radio doesn't exist anymore. It's a really incredible feeling. And I actually found out, I haven't gotten the sheets for this week, but I found out last week that my song Tonight charted on the Hot 100 for BDS Radio Spin. Number 97 it came in at. So, yeah, thank you. So, and that was another when I got that phone call. It's like, some people might say, oh, it's 97, but that's 97 in the entire country. And, I'm on the same list as people like Taylor Swift and Katy Perry and Ed Sheeran and virtually I'm the only unknown, I put that in quotes, artist on the top 100. But it's like, I did that. That's really cool. There's a ton of people listening to my song and now who know who I am. And, it was just such a rush of adrenaline and we can only go up from here. Be a superhero, keep on flying, keep on rising to the top.
Sure, and think about it. If you're looking at their name, sweetheart, they're looking at your name. And so, that is, on those charts. So that's always a way to look at it. And I just want to say something in the last couple minutes here, and or an actual minute and a half. I want to thank you first and foremost for being part of this. Thank you for being an incredible fucking guest. Thank you. I enjoy you. I think where you're going to really excel as a fact is that, and I say this with all due respect, you got balls, girl, and in this industry, you have to have those. You have to understand the word no, as I said before, but that no kind of promotes you to make that no into a yes. And, and it's a situation where I think you're going to do fine. I've been in this industry myself for 30 plus years. I had the pleasure of introducing people and interviewing people, friends of mine that have been in the industry 40 years. They're all optimistic. Majority of all of them are optimistic of where the music business is going. Will it get back to the way it was? I hope so. If it doesn't, then we have to find out the next way to make our money, to pay for our mortgage, to put food on the table. But you know what? Talent, it doesn't always necessarily do that for you. So we have to put our best foot forward. We have to do the best we can, but with the situations that we have. And what we have right now, girl, is a show that is winding down. We thank you. Florentino always says that he gave me the show is to keep me off the streets. But again, you know what? I wouldn't have met you if I was walking the streets itself. So we really appreciate it, girl.
You never know.
You never know. So hats off to you. I want my audience worldwide to say thank you to Stephanie K. You guys go on this coming Friday. Stephanie K's new music, Troublemaker, is going to be out. Go buy the music. Don't fucking steal it. Go buy it and enjoy it. And then give us a feedback what it is. Stephanie will have this show archived towards the end of the day. We'll send you the permanent link, and we'd love to have you put on your website. So with that said, guys, Jackie Bertoni, Jackie's Groove, Intertalk Radio Network, your connection to all things music. I finished my broadcast by saying 3 words, Stephanie. Peace through music. Thank you, girl. Much love.
Thanks.
This is Jackie Bertoni from Jackie's Groove. Come join me weekly on my journey through the music business as I take you behind the velvet rope, interviewing industry notables such as Al Di Meola, Michael McDonald, and Al Jarreau, to name but a few. Listen to their stories on being in the studios recording #1 hits and onto the stages throughout the globe. Allow me to be your music historian. You can hear me live every Monday at 2 p.m. and every Wednesday at 12 noon Pacific Standard Time or 24/7 on jackiesgroove.com. Ready to get your groove on?
Hi, this is Tim Dolbear from Eclectica Studios. I'm a full-time mixing and recording engineer. I work with Grammy winners, labels, and indie artists, using state-of-the-art digital mixing and restoration tools and the very best in analog gear. Really, though, it's my ability to bring tracks to life and fulfill your vision for your music. This has made me sought after by producers and artists worldwide. So spend your time working on music and not chasing a mix down a rabbit hole. Go to timdolbear.com and check out our free one-song mix offer.
You know what's all around you every waking moment of your life? Marketing. You're choking on it. I'm Scott Robertson, and when it comes to strategic PR, branding, and marketing, I've seen it all. And actually, I'm still seeing it because bad marketing never sleeps. Join me each week on May the Best Brand Win, right here on Intertalk Radio, and learn how to make the marketing for your brand unforgettable.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.